So I had some thoughts about becoming a pilot. So I started running, and as I started to run, I noticed some weird things in my body. It was quite uncomfortable in the beginning. I was not in the mood for running at all, but that's my routine, that's what I do. Sometimes I'm motivated, sometimes I'm not. Most of the time, when I'm running, I'm actually not motivated at all. I like the feeling after a good run when you become a little bit sweaty, get that heartbeat pumping up. I like that feeling, but the act of running, not something I actually look forward to. I like to breathe a lot when I run, take deep breaths, try to do some sort of Wim Hof exercise while I'm running to get myself in a good state of comfort in here, not in my body. That's the thing. We need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And as I started to run, I increased the speed. And I noticed something else. The more I increased the speed, the more I wanted to slow down the speed. The more I increased the pace of my running, the more I wanted to decrease the pace that I was running at. Isn't that fascinating? When you're going so fast, all of a sudden you want to slow down. We humans are experts at giving up. And I think that's the reason I wanted to do this video, because it gave me some insight into becoming my own pilot. In some way, I was there in the moment, just running, and all I had to think of was to control the speed at which I was running. I was gonna run no matter what, I was not gonna walk. That's a fact. I was not all of a sudden, I don't feel like running anymore, I'm gonna walk the rest of the way. No. I could feel my body literally just, you don't think as much when you walk, right? You don't think of the right foot, left foot. You don't think like that. You just walk, right? You don't breathe in, now I need to breathe out. You don't think that you need to breathe in, you just do it, right? It's automatic. And I was at the point in my running that it was automatic. I was running because that's what I'm supposed to do. Nothing else. I'm not gonna stop. And the only thing I could control at that moment was the pace. But I was going forward no matter what. And when you're at the point that you're just going, you need to realize that perhaps I should pick up the speed. And that is essentially becoming your own pilot, because I was becoming aware of my running. I wasn't that aware, I was, surrounded by people, cars, nature, sounds. I wasn't really aware of my running until I decided I want to pick up the pace. Then I became aware. And I think that's how you become your own pilot. You just don't walk around in life like an automaton. And so I want to speak about how I do in my life to become the pilot. Number one, I exercise every single day. I have one rest day off, that's it. And for me, exercising isn't something most of the time I'm not motivated. I just do it because that's what I do. That's it. Do I have any goals? Of course I have some small goals. I wanna set my 1 rep max on the bench press. I got my little good goals, but the goal is just in and of itself, it isn't a goal. I'm more focused on the process and what I can get out of it. A healthier mind state, a healthier body, better sleep, more confidence in myself. And to become healthier, I need to get control of my routines regarding health. And I think that's an excellent exercise in becoming your own pilot. And number two, I reflect every evening. I have my gratitude journal that I write in every single day, every evening. I write things, either 2 things I'm grateful for or 10 things. But I'm always writing about something I'm grateful for. It could be a simple thing, like I'm grateful that I have clothes on. I'm grateful that I'm breathing, I'm alive. I'm grateful for wisdom. I'm grateful for having a bed to sleep on at night. And reflecting, journaling. That's what I do when I'm at my bed. When I'm about to sleep, I have my little notebook beside me and I reflect about anything really. Because we need to put our minds in another place sometime. We cannot always be in our minds all the time because that's unhealthy. We need to make sure that our minds can be stored, parts of our minds can be stored somewhere else. That's why I have this. I have actually 3 types of journal. I'm gonna go into depth in another video on how to do power journaling, which I call it. But essentially I have a journal about personal stuff, whatever. It's not a diary, more of like, okay, this is something that has been going on in the past 3 weeks, a behavior. Is it positive, bad, or I recently argued with my dad or mom or whatever, personal. Then I have the second, which I call a bird's eye type of reflection. It's reflecting from the third point of view of yourself. So how do we do that? Instead of saying to ourselves, well, I am sad, we could approach it in, why is Marcus sad? So we, first of all, distance ourselves from ourselves. Then we also ask a question, because simply writing I am sad, well, yeah, the sky is blue, fish swim in water. What can we do with that type of information? Nothing at all. We cannot come to any conclusions about anything. Because why? We're not asking any questions. If we ask a question, we will get an answer. Because when you're going to the therapist, for example, they ask you questions. You do not ask your therapist questions, right? Or do you? Well, sometimes you do, but most of the time you're just speaking and the therapist is asking you a bunch of questions and you're answering them. So in some way you're becoming your own therapist. And so you have 2 persons in one dialogue. That you cannot have in a personal reflection. So both are equally important. I do not write every single day in my personal reflection and in my bird's eye reflection and in my health journal. No, I do not. I'm gonna be honest with that. But I do reflect. Sometimes I need to just vent, right? About how I'm feeling inside. Sometimes we just need to put our mind into words so we can read about it later and okay, that's something I've noticed happening. Okay. And sometimes I feel like writing about what I'm so happy. Why am I happy? Okay, I'm happy because I have this meditation routine and I'm exercising regularly. I'm making a lot of YouTube content. Wow, I'm feeling much more happier. And then I write about that. But sometimes I want an answer to things. Like, why am I behaving in this way? So I'm trying to construct a dialogue with myself by doing this third eye view, bird's eye view, whatever you call it, reflection. By acknowledging the fact that there are multiple dimensions of myself, I can reflect in a more productive way. That's what I do in my bird's eye reflection. I'm recognizing there's parts of myself that I need to communicate, like if I was a therapist. And number 3 is a health journal. Basic stuff. It's more like you're writing a logistics paper, right? A grocery list. A grocery list is practical. It's not any feelings to it. It's not any emotions, psychic, whatever. You don't put any judgment on a grocery list. You just make a grocery list because that's what you want to eat. And that's it. The inherent text isn't emotional in any sense or whatever. It's just logistics. So in a health journal you can write, well, I ate this, I ate that. You can write about your mood and how you're feeling that particular day. Did you exercise that day? Or I like to write in my health journal my level of consciousness. I rate it from a scale from 0% to 100%. Some days I feel more conscious, more aware of myself than other days. So I write about that. So you should keep track on practical things about your life. Your happiness, consciousness, exercise, your routines. You can write, okay, today I clean my room for 15 minutes. Write about that. Because we need to set systems in place. And we do that by reflecting, keeping track of ourselves. And that way, we can become our own pilot. So that was number 2. Number 3 and last, mindfulness. Not specifically meditation. Purely mindfulness. How can we achieve mindfulness then? Simply starting by the breath. Simply starting with the breath. When we breathe in, we bring awareness to our own body. And when we bring awareness to our own body, we bring awareness to the mind. A simple exercise could be, as I mentioned in one other video, walking meditation. Perhaps when you're sitting down, you simply take 10 deep breaths. I would suggest that you have a reminder on your phone that will alarm you when you need to breathe. I have one app called Fabulous, which is a habit tracker app. I use it to track my breathing habits. So at 1 o'clock, it tells me to breathe. Just breathe. Take a deep breath. That's it. It's easy. Because mindfulness in everything we do will make sure we become the pilot in whatever we do. So it's really important that you constantly become aware of your breath and practice breathing whenever you can. Practice healthy breathing, breathing in through your nose, doing deep breathing exercises as much as you can. Because if I tell you, go breathe, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna do it right after this video, but one day later you're totally gonna forget about it. We need to make sure our awareness becomes not a certain habit, more of a part of our identity. So by simply practicing breathing, you will find yourself in the most random of moments. Perhaps you're eating dinner with your family, and all of a sudden you feel like you want to take a deep breath. You're happy in that moment, you're content, but you just feel like you want to take a deep, deep breath. Like now. So by de-stressing ourselves, we make sure that our happiness is not constant but on a balanced level, our inner peace. True happiness can only come from inner peace. I like to quote David R. Hawkins, the author of Power vs. Force and other great books. we do not get stressed from what we want, but we do get stressed from what we do not want. And that's because we rely on the external world for our happiness, when in fact the happiness should come from a peaceful state of mind. Everybody talks about how to achieve true happiness. We all say that it comes from the internal. But what does that mean? It's so vague. It's so vague. When I talk about internal, I'm talking about a peaceful state of mind. A mind that is like a rock, which the ocean keeps crashing on, but is unmoving. That's essentially what a peaceful mind is. It's a rock. You can burn it, put water on it, even chip at it, hammer at it, throw it. Still gonna be a rock. Even if it breaks. Even if it breaks in two pieces. Even if it breaks into two pieces, it's still gonna be hard as a fucking rock. The hardness never disappears. It just became two separate pieces. So, if you liked this video, hit the subscribe button, hit like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, hit the bell notification if you want to see more. Putting out content daily here. So yeah, stay great.